Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to one more drum conversation open studio jazz. I am Edu Ribeiro, and we're gonna start as usual. I'm gonna play something for you. I'm gonna play Cebola no Frevo, a tune, my tune that I did with Chico Pinheiro in 2003, maybe, and I hope you enjoy that. ok, pessoal, legal. Thank you for listening. And for now, I'm sorry, I had some problem with my camera. I put my camera here and I changed that. And for now, I want to invite our guest for today. This amazing drummer, this amazing, so great musician. Please clap your hands to Matt Wilson, everybody, please.
Man, after that, what am I supposed to do?
Oh man,
Mercy! Wow.
Oh man.
I like. At first, I didn't know you were playing. It was just on your face. I'm like, wow. He's just like over there, like mixing up the gravy over here. Like wow, fantastic. I love that. Just like yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I set a different camera, and there is nobody in this camera.
Yeah.
I'm seated here now, but the camera says no, you are not here.
Yeah. I was
I'm sorry for that.
No, that was great. I was like, wow, he's invisible, and he's playing so great. No, it's fantastic, man. Hey, dude, wow, beautiful.
Hey, oh
man,
thank you.
Man.
Thank you
Woo.
for listening to that. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
Oh
music.
no, obrigado. Ah, man.
Muito obrigado. And first of all, obrigado for being here. Thank you for accepting our Open Studio invitation. My invitation. This program is sponsored by Open Studio Jazz.
Great.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Oh man, my pleasure. What are you talking about? Anytime to talk about talk and play and converse and laugh and
I know you are in your drum set too. No, is that okay? Are you seated in your drum set?
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
I'll pull my camera down when it's time for me to play something. If we do that. No,
Please.
I had a little thing today. My longer headphone cord is not working, so I'm kind of So it'll make it an adventure. I have to play around the cord, but it'll be all right. It's fine.
Yeah, you can move so much. Yeah.
No, I like it. Yeah, it's always something. It's always nice to have some detriments. To add to the affair.
Yeah, man. Where do you live? Where
I
are you
live.
talking?
I live on Long Island, Baldwin, Long Island, New York. So I live about 50 minutes from New York City. From the city. So we've been here in this house. My son's turned 20. I have triplet sons.
Wow.
And triplets. Yeah. And I have a daughter who just she graduated from college last year, but we had the ceremony this weekend. So so she graduated this weekend with musical theater, and then my sons are 20, and we moved here to this house when they turned 2. So we've been on Long Island though we've been out here for a while because my wife, who passed away 7 years ago, but she taught orchestra in Long Beach out this way. So we moved out this way from we lived in Brooklyn when we first moved to New York, and then Queens, and then out to here. So we've been out here, but I love it out here. It's nice. It's great.
Oh, great, man. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And where are you from? Where you was born?
I'm from Illinois originally, West Central Illinois, a small town called Knoxville. I say this often, but it's true. It's referred to as the avant-garde jazz center of West Central Illinois. It's actually not too far from St. Louis, which is where Open Studio is based.
Yeah.
I'm from about 3 hours northeast of there, kind of up, up and over a little bit. About 3 hours from Chicago, 3 hours from St. Louis. So,
great.
Yeah.
And the last time we met was in Brazil.
Yeah.
We came here to play. I think was not the last time that you came here, but the last time I saw you. We saw each other was you came here to play with Likonitz.
Yeah.
Dennis Lee, Orra Talmor, and some Brazilian musicians. Daniel Alcântara, and the bass player. What's the name of the bass player?
Yeah. Bob Bowen was also playing with us, right? Bob Bowen was with us, the late great bassist. Yeah.
Yeah. How long was that? Do you remember the year?
No.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't. It has been. I saw some pictures of it the other day, from it, and we made another record with the Dexter Gordon music down there. I think I was down there doing stuff with Dennis and Ohad, apart from Lee, a couple of times. I think 2 other times. Then I was there with Lee, and I was there with Dewey Redman,
Okay.
And I was there with, the last time I was in Brazil was with Joe Lovano and Dave Douglas's band Sound Prince. I was subbing for Joey Barron, and I was down. I can't remember what year. That's been within the last 10 years, I think, sometime. Maybe 5, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun. It's always fun. I miss
then
it.
I remember that day. We're gonna talk about that later, but I remember that day when you start to play, the sound of the drum set was beautiful and took all the theater. That sound was beautiful. Your touch was amazing. You have to talk about that later. But now I want to ask you about your starting with the music. How do you start with music? How do you start with the drum set? Why did you choose drum set to play music?
Well, I like how you refer to that. You having the drum set to play the music. I liked. When I was born, I had club foot. Like, my foot was. I've had 27 casts on this left leg from the time I was born. I have the little cast, one of the little casts upstairs actually, and they would put them on me weekly to help straighten out my foot because it was twisted around so bad. Mm-hmm. So I didn't walk as early. I mean, I wasn't too far behind. But one of the things my mom used to do was put stuff around me. Her thing about me playing the drums was that she used to put stuff around me, and I would play, and then she would put on records. And I love the music. So we had the stackable, LP thing, it would play one record and it would drop it down another one and drop down another one. And she could do stuff while I was sitting there. So I liked doing this, I liked having things around me. And so she always thought that the reason I played the drums is the drum set. Later, I saw on an episode of the Lucy Show, I saw Buddy Rich was on. He was a guest. He was going to be judging a drum contest, and Ricky Jr., Desi's, Desi and Lucy's son, was a very good drummer. He was in the contest, and so Buddy, they went to go see Buddy to see if he could get some lessons, and Lucy accidentally took his cymbal bag, thinking it was her purse, and she gets home and it's like, oh, these are Buddy's cymbals. So he had to come over to the house and get them. So of course he comes to the house and there's a drum set there. So he sits down and plays a drum solo. I thought, oh man, that's cool, And then I have a friend that I was friends with since grade school, and we would listen to records like on hot days like this in the summer. We'd get together and listen to records. And he had a record called Roach versus Rich, or Rich versus Roach, on Mercury Records. Has them both on the front going like this, looking at each other. And so I heard that, and they play Sing, Sing, Sing. The Louis Prima classic, but made famous by Benny Goodman. And so they play that. And Buddy plays a solo that's just incredible, But then later, Max Roach plays with bass accompaniment. But I didn't know that. I mean, the bass walked, and it was over the form of the tune. I didn't know that at that point, but it really caught my ears, because he sounded like to me he was singing on the drums, and the space that he left and all that. And so then in my ears, that was a changing moment right there. I mean, then I realized also I knew that I couldn't probably do what Buddy Rich did with my hands. But I heard the music that Max Roach was playing, and I was really into it. Yeah. And so, that was a real start of everything. And matter of fact, I have a son named, one of my sons' name is Max, Maxwell Dewey, Max, and then Dewey Redmond. And so I did that. And then that same friend and we went to see a lot of music. So, and we're from farm kids, So we saw Count Basie. We met Count Basie and Freddie Green after the concert. Within 1 week, one time, we went to a town north and we saw Clark Terry. We went to a town south and saw Dizzy Gillespie's quartet. Wow. And then 3 nights later, we went down to the University of Illinois, which is about a 2.5 hour drive from where we lived. And we saw Oscar Peterson play solo.
Wow.
And the same buddy of mine, we saw Buddy a couple of times. So, we would see things. We would go see the music. We would go, and I saw a lot of people when I was a kid, and my parents took me to a lot of workshops and stuff like that. And so they were great. My brothers were cool with me, got me, records and all this stuff. And so, yeah, it's been I've had a blessed life with the music. It's been great.
Oh man, that is a beautiful history.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that singing drums from Max. That's something that you think that all the time. Are you playing? You are singing before playing?
I don't sing before I play. I don't think. I'm not like I'm a person that tries to hear what I'm playing, and follow through with it. But I really do hear themes. I mean, with everything that I play, when I'm comping, when I'm offering time melodies, in jazz, I'm hearing the themes. I'm not really thinking about rhythm as much as I am hearing the themes of what I'm playing. For example, like so and then that way things seem things seem to have forward motion, seems that the ideas keep going like this rather than here, so that's helped me a lot, but I do really think themes, and I learned improvising on this instrument is probably as much from saxophone players and trumpet players and such, and pianists and everything else than I have from drums per se. Like Dewey Redman was a big influence, and so Dewey's improvising, Lee Conas is improvising. I try to bring that to the drums, and then and so that's helped. That's helped me be really inside the music, and I've always been more like drawn to that. I like to hear people really sing on these. Like what you were just doing there was great. We could hear the themes, You hear all the sounds that you're offering were so, and the details of the sound that you're offering. So all the sounds that you're offering, you really know your sound. So I think that's part of it with the themes, knowing the sounds. But I really do hear themes. Matter of fact, when I refer to the ride cymbal as a melody, I don't refer to it as a beat. This is a melody. This is a melody. Because when we play music, we seem to share melodies more than we do share, Like, for example, if you were to sing what you were playing, you would sing it with the you would sing it with the pitches and dialect of what you're playing, right? You wouldn't go da 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 da. You go boo bop boo. So one of the things I have people do a lot for me is sing me their ride cymbal melody. And then show it to me, show the choreography without the stick, with the stick, and then play it so that they're connecting to it. So it's not a beat on a page that you go. You really are knowing the shape, and plus you're really knowing the dance of it. Like how you just danced on the cymbal, all the cymbals there were great. I was watching you. I mean, like when you went to the hi-hat, during the biome kind of section in that one bridge. Yeah, just to watch you dance on the cymbal was beautiful. So one night I went to see Jack DeJohnette, who's become a very dear friend and mentor. He's great. But I went to see him one time and with Martin Wynn, a great bassist that we played together a lot. And it was at Birdland, and our view was his ride cymbal, hand, and we watched that all night. And we looked at each other. We said, we don't only have the best seat in Birdland, we have the best seat of anybody in New York right now seeing anything. Just watching him address the cymbal and play it, So I really like to see, I like to, music, Art Blakey used to say you can hear with your eyes. So I really like to look at folks and figure, how we dance together in the music is physically, how people are, So I've had some great teachers that helped me out a lot with movement and motion. Ed Sof I studied with, who was very valuable for that. I mean, I really learned a lot of things about letting the stick do the work, opening up all these hinges. And that of course, then lends itself to more of an open sound. My dear friend Jeff Hamilton is another person that's helped me a lot with that. I've had so many heroes, in the music. Andrew Cyril is really great, helping me with, like just with sound. I took a couple lessons, and but a lot of it came from like horn players and stuff. And I started playing gigs. You know, I was playing music before I was really, I was getting to go play it. I was learning things through a teacher from gigs. You know, I was like I was coming back and going, I don't, you know. And then I had a teacher that was really great who would also, if I was learning things, he would play bass with me. So I was not just learning it and practicing, he would play bass along with me. So if I was practicing, you know, the samba or whatever, he'd play bass. And so I was doing it with music all the time, you know. So I was lucky to get to play. I started working, you know, I mean, I was fortunate to get to start to play gigs when I was in junior high school. So my parents would take me and I was playing, you know, I was playing a lot, you know, it was fun.
Wow, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah. In this farm towns, you know, it was fun, you know, agriculture, you know, but it was cool.
Yeah, and you're saying something that makes some connection with something that I want to ask you. You are, I'm sorry about my bad English.
No, don't worry, please.
That time
it's better than my Brazilian Portuguese. So you know.
No, that's great too. But I remember that maybe 20 years ago when we met, I was learning, and today I'm still learning English, and so I didn't grow so much.
Well,
I'm the same.
I'm still trying to get it together too with that. So no, please don't worry about it. It's fun.
Okay, but you are talking about dancing with the drums, singing the drums, and you are so spontaneous. Is that the word, spontaneous, when you play? I can feel that you are not. You are not thinking so much to put the music. And is there any exercise, or not musical exercise, but something about your breathing or about your concentration that you can make this channel open all the time? Makes sense, my question?
No, your question makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure if it's all the time. I think I've increased the percentages, hopefully. You know, I mean, it goes through streaks, right? But I think for me, one of the ways is we have to practice it. You know what I mean? I always, my dear friend and mentor, I've had a lot of great mentors, and is John Clayton, the great bassist. He's amazing. And he came into the Centrum Jazz Workshop, which I've been fortunate to teach at for many, many years with him. And he said he made an announcement one day to have everybody stop practicing. And everybody's, you know, people are like, yes, you know, finally, you know, and then other people are like, you know, that's all they're told to do. He said, no, and start performing. So one of the things I think, you know, is to perform it. And I think then the focus is there. Now, there are times, right, when we're working on things and you know, like this morning I was trying some stuff and so I just really played it slowly and, you know, and it probably, my neighbors heard me and it probably doesn't sound very good. That's the point of practicing, is that, you know, is to also challenge yourself. And so I do that, but I think for me it's not trying to reduce the fool around time. You know what I mean? Like when I sit down, I don't have to go, and I know what these sound like. You know, I mean, we've done this a while, right? So I really want the first thing that I hear be music, you know? And even in my own bands, you know, I like the first thing for them. The only real thing I don't want to hear people checking tuning, reads, all that stuff. I like the first thing to be that people hear is the song, you know? Yeah. So I also feel like that cuts down on the pollution and things, and it saves it, you know, it saves it for the music. So I think, you know, I think a lot of that is what I recommend to a lot of folks is to start every day of your practicing with a performance. So in other words, you come in, you address, you say hi to the audience, and you begin with that. You begin with a performance rather than warm up or whatever. I mean, don't hurt yourself, kind of thing. But welcome. The first thing, if the first thing you do is welcome music, then you're conditioning yourself. You're opening yourself up for those possibilities. You know. Yeah. But a lot of times I don't know if folks are playing or if they're adjusting the hi-hat. You know, just I don't. So I like the first thing to be something like that. So maybe can I demonstrate something like that? Would I just come in and sit down and I improvise?
Yeah.
Is that all right? Just a short improvisation? I'll pull the camera down a little bit.
Please. Wow.
So no, but
Great.
but
Amazing.
what I feel like that we practice improvising. I love imaginative people, of all kinds, and what people can do with ingredients, like a chef, or what a painter can do. And my girlfriend's a great quilter, what she can do, what she sees with fabric and how she puts it all together. It's amazing, and so but I'm fascinated with people that can build things, I'm always fascinated. So, think about how, where they get their ideas from.
You remember something? Luis, I think Ricardo Cuban was the piano player from Cuba that played with you. And when you left, we someday we start to play together. We start talk about you. And he told something that was so special to me. He told me, if Matt was an architect, was a painter, was a video maker, he's gonna be the huge, the so creative and the very good one of that, because he's so creative with everything. And something that you are telling now is the same. You can be creative and you can be make a difference with different things. Not just with the music.
Yeah. That's why it's important to check out a lot of different things. Ask people. Just say like, wow, and first and foremost, appreciate it. Like see stuff and go, like I'm really into art and poetry and all this stuff, I just one of the things I missed during the pandemic, we finally went to one recently, was going to museums, like seeing art shows, and so we finally went to one recently, and it was great. It was so inspiring, and watching documentaries on painters and such. But I love people that and my parents were. My mom, both my folks, but my mom was really, if there's anything, I'm so grateful that they had us work, really do stuff with our imaginations, and I think it's important. And I think, then I think then your story can come out, your courage, and everybody's different. You have such a great story and such a great sound and story that you offer, and your personality. I have mine. We have great folks. We have Greg Hutchinson, who tells stories beautifully on the instrument. Jonathan Blake. We can go on and on, right?
Yeah.
Joey Barron. The list goes on and on. So, but it's their, it's their stories, right? It's our medium. And the other thing I find is that I love musicians where whatever they're playing, it's not necessarily so tied to that instrument. In other words, if you were to take the material that they played and play it on the piano, it would work. Or if the way the pianist plays, if you played it on the drums, it would work. So in other words, their music is universal and not so centric to the instrument per se. I like that a lot. I like hearing those kinds of surprises, with the music.
It's a little bit related the question that I did to you. Why did you choose the drum set to play music? You can play in different instruments what you play, and that is beautiful. I agree with you that it's so it's not a stranger, but it's hard to connect it when you see a drummer or a guitar player or a piano player that plays just something that is so related with this instrument, related with its technique, and it maybe it's hard to move from the drum set for piano or the piano to drum set and different things.
Yeah, it's great. And I was watching you, and just the ways, again, plural, the ways that you have of playing with just your right hand. I mean, the sound, the ways you were addressing the stick when you were playing the hi-hat and when you went to the cymbal on the right and you went to the cymbal on the left, just to watch the way you dance differently and how different ways in which you're even holding the stick. I mean, there's no right or wrong way. There's just, we want to have ways, the song will tell us what the ways are, and so we're not going to be resistance free. I mean, some people are. Some people can really, they have very little resistance between them and the instrument. That's great. But sometimes I think our weaknesses can define, or our limitations can define us as much as our strengths, right? So I think sometimes we realize, okay, this is there's got to be a point where you wake up one day and go, okay, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. But I'm not going to sit around and go, well, I can't do that. I'm going to figure out ways in which I can do it with what I can do. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the way I've been, again, blessed. And the other thing is that I've had the opportunity to play in a lot of different settings with great musicians that welcomed me. And my brother got me this recording when I was young, a 3-record set on Impulse Records called The Drums. There was one for the saxophone, there's one for the bass, there's one for the piano, I believe. And what they did was they had recordings on it from the ABC Impulse record label vaults. So they had Baby Dodds all the way up to that point, Barry Allschul with Chick, as the spectrum of music. Danny Richmond, Elvin Jones playing with Richard Davis, Philly Joe Jones, Chico Hamilton, Sonny Murray playing with Albert Ayler, Beaver Harris. I mean, it's great. So I heard this music. So I heard swinging, stuff. Joe Jones playing on the, and I thought, I like that. And then I heard Sonny Murray playing Ghost. There was no metric time piece. And so I'm glad I had that. I'm glad I had this ignorance, because then I didn't, think that jazz was a 5-year period. I was like, oh wow, there's all this that I can explore. So I was checking out the Baby Dodds stuff from there, and then later on a lot through Soph, I was checking out Baby Dodds. Not only what he played, but his philosophies on talking drums, which is great. And then just, mining, listening a lot, but getting to play a lot and getting advice from musicians, all the time about ways to approach it, So it was good.
That's great. Hey, Matt, we have a lot of comments here.
Okay.
And, let's gonna talk about a little bit with our viewers.
Okay, please.
The first one, Ana Maria Monteon says hello.
Oh.
And Regis Sylvester says hello, sounding good.
Oh.
Patrick says clapping.
Oh, cool.
Jeff Dunn says applause.
Woohoo.
Joyce.
Jeff Dunn.
Joyce Glasgow sent some hearts. Thank
you,
Joyce. And Regis Silverman clapping on 2 and 4. And himself, hello from Munich, Germany.
All right.
And Joyce says, hi, Matt Wilson.
All right. Joyce. Can't wait to see everybody. We're starting to see people, right? It's great. Get out to see, been running into people. Been fun. Been in the studio and stuff, all kinds of things. So it's been nice.
And Clemens Marti says, hello from Austria. We had a great hang in Leibniz, Austria, when he played with our mutual friend Dana de Rose.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Nice to see you. Can't wait to get back. Yeah, can't wait to get back to Europe, too.
And he says,
it's going to be great. Can't wait to be back,
How was working with you? Was he totally loose what he wanted from the sideman, or very specific?
Clemens, I played with him for 12 years. I started. It would have been his 90th birthday on Monday, and today is Cecil McBee's 86th birthday. So Cecil McBee, 86. Both those gentlemen played on my first record as leader, and I was in their bands for many, many years. But I played with Dewey from 1994 until he died in 2006. And he told me said about 5 things in those years, but one of which was really great. So he had a tune called Daystar Nightlight, and he said, Matthew, he always called me Matthew. He said, Matthew, I want mallets on cymbals on this one. Okay, so I did it. Did it for a long time. So one night we were playing in New York at Sweet Basil's, and I decided, I'm going to get a little artsy, and I got my percussion stuff out, and I was doing all this stuff and doing this other thing, and he came over. If you were ever at Sweet Basil's, there's the hallway to the bathroom was right here, and he could walk around there, and he leaned over me as I was playing with Charles Eubanks. We were still playing the tune, and he leaned over in my ear and said, Matthew, I like mallets on cymbals on this one. So what he was doing, though, I found out, and I smiled, because he was right. But what he was doing was giving me a challenge. He wanted to see what I could do with all that, and how I'm at. So he liked that sound platform for this particular tune. But so I would start to bring all kinds of mallets when I went on tour with him. I'd bring hard mallets, soft mallets, puffy mallets, plastic mallets, everything, and I'd say, "Hey, you didn't say what kind of mallet, right?" And we'd laugh. But he wanted to see what I could do. So he gave me a limitation, and so, but and one time, that was about it, one time he wanted a shuffle, he sang me a shuffle feel that he kind of really wanted on this Texas blues, and I got it, he was right, but yeah, he was we had such a great relationship. One of my sons, his middle name was Dewey, Maxwell, his middle name was Dewey. And I love Walter Dewey Redmond with all my heart, and then McBee too. So those guys were both, both great musicians, and in Cecil's case, a great composer too. Not only a legendary bassist, but a great composer. And then Lee, I learned a lot from playing. I played a lot of years with Lee Konitz also. 25 years with Lee, I think, on and off doing different things. All kinds of different settings, all kinds of different people. Yeah. And it was always a blessing. Andrew Hill, Charlie Hayden for many, many years, for the Liberation and then other things. So yeah, it's been cool to be around those kind of folks. Andrew Hill, like I said. And then, so, but Dina DeRose, she's great. I've been playing with her for, it'll be going on 26, 27 years, I've made a bunch of her records, played on a bunch of, I love her, she's really great. So, yeah.
And thank you for that. And what a great experience. And there's Regis Sylvester asked, where did you live in maybe this is Brooklyn when you played with Dewey Hedman? Rachel, could you put that one to
yeah. Where was I living when I played with Dewey?
Yeah.
First in Brooklyn. We lived in Brooklyn. Then we moved to Queens. My daughter was born when we lived in Queens, and then we moved to Long Island to another town, and then came here when my sons turned 2. I have triplet sons in there too. So, they're 20, so we moved here, this house, when they turned 2. Yeah. So, yeah, we've been here out this way for a long time. But Dewey, we were living here when Dewey died. I was with him that day. I was playing in New York at the Iridium with Denny Zeitlin's trio, and Frank Kimbrough, who died unexpectedly last winter too. He called me and said, "Man, something's up," because he was playing with Dewey at that point. He says, "Man, I've just been reading this stuff online. Something's up with Dewey. He's at this hospital, Veterans Hospital." So I called, and I went there the next day, and I stayed with him until Joshua got there. He was not conscious, but I was with him. So yeah, that was a sad, very sad day for myself and our family. We love Dewey with all of our hearts. He was a great man. So. Oh man. Yeah, great human being. Funny, super funny. Yeah. Super funny. Yeah. And the sound. He always talked about sound. And with all instruments. So I really got a lot of stuff from sound from him. About. Mm-hmm. And I watched him. I watched him teach a lesson once, and he had a great ergonomic relationship with the saxophone. He didn't move a lot. Some people move a lot. Everybody has their own ways, right? But I asked him to do this lesson with someone, and he just had him do this. He said, we're just going to talk, but every once in a while, I just want you to bring your hand up and put it on your saxophone. So you're not thinking, and do this. Put it up and be relaxed. And he had him do this for a while. So he had a really great way of helping them with their air. And he always used to say, Matthew, cats come to me for lessons. I make them do long tones. He goes, not many of them come back for that next lesson. Because I think they thought they're going to get, moon dust sprinkled in their hair, like, bring, and he's having them work on basics,
Yeah.
So same way here, working on sound. I want folks to, myself too. I want to hear what I'm playing. I want to feel what I'm playing physically. I want to see it. I want to, all these things. I want to connect to it as many ways as I can. And I got a lot of that from him, and we talk about music, on the road and train, and he was a real allower. He really allowed people to go. One of his things he used to say was, Matthew, people sound their best when they play with me.
Yeah.
And you think first that's an ego thing, but actually that's pride. That's like, wow. And he did. Everybody who ever was on a bandstand with him, he welcomed you. He opened you up. That's what I want to be. I want to be that person that allows people to go places. So that's. It was a real. I mean, I went to school at Wichita State University, and I'm glad I did. I have a great mentor and teacher there named J.C. Combs, who I got a lot of my imagination cultivated from also. But I always said that for grad school I went to the University of Redmond, and Redmond and McBee and all these other people that really, they gave us a chance too. Gave me a chance. But he heard me and he gave me his number, and I called him every month for a year and a half in the case of Dewey. And finally he needed somebody, so I went to play with him,
Wow.
So, yeah.
Great.
And then he asked me to join the band.
Great.
So, it was a great day.
And the same Clemens Marty ask you, what's your conceptual sound on the drum set and exercise you working on that with the students? I think you are talking about that, but if you have something more to.
Yeah, I think it's ways. So, like for example, one of the things I've been having folks do as a challenge is I want them to play. I'll move the camera down maybe just a little bit.
Okay.
I want them to play. I want them to play a whole note on the snare drum, and a quarter note on the snare drum. Quarter note with a quarter note rest and a half note rest behind it, and I want to hear the difference.
Okay.
So I'll play the ride cymbal melody with it. So I'll play 4 bars of whole note, 4 bars of the quarter note with the quarter note rest. So whole note again. Quarter. So I'm hearing those, and I try to hear longer note values, not rest,
Yeah.
So when I play a whole note, I'm letting it be that whole note. Because singable songs are made up of those note values.
Yeah.
We don't go, I remember you. We go, I remember you, right? Right? So I try to have those note values come out. So that's one of the things I think to help people with their sound and to help people, so it's not, oh, I'm playing, what are you playing there? Is it a whole note or a quarter note? And after a while, I've had students, I've had them play it for me. They have to do the same 4 bars, and I give them, I say, they have to do it 3 times, and then I can guess. And usually I can tell by the second time through. And sometimes their jaws just drop. But I can hear when they first of all, it has to come from them though. It's when we sing a whole note, in band we started with, they played the B flat, right? Concert B flat. Band went ba. We did 2, 3, 4, right? We counted, but I want people to know and feel the whole note.
Yeah.
You know, I want to feel the whole note. So that's one of the things. Is I think that opens up the singable quality of it too.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
open up those note values. You know.
And it makes different in your sound, your tuning, your everything. You have to thinking about the sound that you do. I will confess, I never thinking about that. Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah.
But-
About the long notes like that. I will
Yeah.
start to practice it now.
Yeah.
To sing the difference of the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and also then we're responsible, or we're connected to that sound all the way through. You know, it's not bump.
Yeah.
It's we're experiencing it. We're following through with the sound. I went to school at Wichita State. We had a graduate assistant named Fred Thiergardner, and I tell my students this story is great. He studied with Fred Hinger, the great classical percussionist. And he came in one day. Fred was from Cincinnati. Is from Cincinnati. He goes, Fred Hinger can play a quarter note on the snare drum, and it can crescendo. And we start laughing. We're like, you know. Now, you know, but not long after that, I was convinced, you know, that he could do that. He had a certain way in which he could turn the stick or do something, and that note would crescendo. They could slow it down and see it crescendo. Now, first and foremost, it was in his brain, though. He thought it and he completed it, right?
Yeah.
So if you hear it in you and you have to figure out how to convey it, then that's going to happen. You know, so I think that's the other ways too. Are the details of the music. Art Blakey, the details of his sound. You know, the details of Al Harewood's sound, the details of Andrew Surreal's sound, the details of Lewis Nash's sound. You know, it's sound. We know that sound is our medium. So one of the major things I have people do is really hear, feel, see, smell, all the stuff with their sound. Like what, you know, I ask students a lot of times in an ensemble, they're playing a tune. I said, well, what's a good, Ornette Coleman said this once at a rehearsal. I read, he said, let's find the right temperature for this song. So I might say, well, if you're playing a groove like this, I might ask him, wow, what would be a good food to serve with this? You know, let's get it beyond, you know, I mean, you know, right? Feijoa, you know, I mean, you know, whatever, you know, it could be whatever. It's not, that to me is not spaghetti. You know, I mean, spaghetti is a different kind of groove, right? So if you start to associate all our senses with it, that opens up everything. Colors, you know, when I saw Elvin Jones' documentary, A Different Drummer, when I was a kid, it was on public television. I saw this, I was like, you know, it was great. And he's like, yeah, I think of this, I can do my Elvin. I think of this symbol as being red, and this one's yellow. You know, he saw the colors of everything. So again, it gets us away from. A student of mine just told me in that same documentary, I don't remember this, but when Elvin said, sometimes I wake up and I play on the pad, but he goes, but I always hear the sound of the drum as I'm doing it.
Wow.
He's not just going mindlessly. Yeah. He's hearing the sound. He's imagining what the sound he wants it to be. So if you do that, if you're always connected to the sound, and then if we dance with that sound, then we're in it. Another person that was really valuable for all this, and I'm forever grateful to. It was a seminar I took in the summer of '84. The summer of '84 was very pivotal for me. I got a grant to go study with Ed Sof. But that summer, I saw Philly Joe Jones and Elvin Jones in the same night in New York City. Wow. I saw Billy Higgins the first time. I sat from where my sofa is. Here's Billy Higgins' drums. I sat that close and watched, you know, I went out and got a cymbal with rivets the very next day. You know, I mean, it was great. I saw Terry Lynn Carrington the first time. I saw Airto the first time. I saw all these people. And but I went to a 2-week, no, not 2 week. I went in between. I was staying in Boston. I went to a week-long seminar with Bob Moses. Mm-hmm. And I'm still to this day inspired by that. And he has a great book. It's going to be republished called Drum Wisdom. It's one of the greatest, for me, inspirational guides for us. I mean, he talks about all kinds of things and a lot about, man, you can play all the things you are, like a deer running through the woods or children playing in the grass. He got my imagination really opened up, and all about sound and the beauty of sound and how he would sing and dance with these grooves and all that. So he really got me into the aspect of dancing. And so, yeah, Bob Moses, one of our great, a true pioneer, and a great teacher. So it was great to, I've been
Oh, man.
fortunate to be. But Elvin, I went to an Elvin Jones record date with Cecil one time. Nicholas Payton was playing, and Delphio Marcellus, and Willie Pickens, and Sonny Fortune. Man, that was awesome, and so I got to, and he sat in on my drums once. I was playing with Dewey and a double bill with Javon Jackson, and he sat in and played on my drums with Javon. My Gretsch drums, so Elvin Jones played those.
Wow.
When I was a kid, I saw Louis Bellson a lot. He was from my area of West Central Illinois, and I learned a lot from him about sound. He's got a great sound and a great way of breathing and incredible posture. If you ever watched videos of Mr. Bellson, great, the lift, everything does this, it wasn't playing down. And that's why I like, Buddy to me was more down this way. Louis, Mr. Bellson, it was all this. So I liked the lift. And then same way with Jeff, Hamilton, the sound that he gets from the way he moves and the dance that he has is amazing. There's just so many. I mean, I could list people all day. Ed Blackwell. Don't even get me started. I mean, I like the people that really sing on the instrument a lot.
Yeah.
Frankie Dunlop. With Monk. I like listening to different drummers with Monk. Art Blakey with Monk. Ben Riley with Monk. Billy Higgins on Live at the Blackhawk with Thelonious Monk. So I like hearing the sound. I like people that sing on the instrument. So
yeah, man, thank you for that. It's a huge class about the sound of the instrument. Thank you for that so much.
What you want to do too with that is welcome people in. If you're playing this way, you're welcoming people in. You're saying, come on, come on in. The water's fine. I'm not back here, like this. You're saying, hey, come on. I like to think about, wow, we're hugging. We're just like, and so with the bass player, and whoever, you get in there. I watch people. I want people to do this dance. So they can get inside the sound. Well, also, you want to welcome their sound through your instrument. So I'm not playing along with their sound. Their sound is in my sound. Yeah. So when I'm playing the ride cymbal, I'm hearing, the saxophone. I'm hearing the bass. I'm hearing everything coming from here. I'm not playing along with it. Like I said, it's, and we're sharing sound that way. So everybody's sound is part of everybody's sound.
Okay. Man, that's amazing. Matt, we have a lot of questions here. But
sure.
Go ahead. I will just say the name from the people because we don't have time to answer everyone. But I will say hello for everybody here.
Okay.
And Clemens Market, Murilo Bueno. Hello, Murilo. Thank you for being here. AG, oof, thank you for being here. Hedges Sylvester, Bill Aveu. That is a very good question. Do you have a favorite painter?
Yeah, I like impressionism a lot. So I have a Matisse. This is a Matisse. It's not hand signed print, but it's a stamp print I bought. I like it a lot. And I have a Connecticut person, but I also really like Jackson Pollock, William de Kooning, and Elaine de Kooning. His wife is a really great painter too, and so yeah, I'm more into modern, but I like Vermeer, and I have some friends that are great painters. I have a friend in Chicago named Megan Williamson. I have some of her work. I have a great piece from a Canadian artist named Jill Thompson. Her sister is Dawn Thompson, who plays and sings in the Honey and Salt Band. We've been friends for years, and so I have a piece of hers. And so I'm really into it. I like reading about painters, and I like going to their studios. You know, I've been to Jackson Pollock's studio. I've been to, you know, I like the Picasso Museum in Paris. You know, I like Matisse with the cutouts. I like when they try different things. You know, like that's what's wild about Picasso. He had such a spectrum of things that he did. You know, and so I like that. You know, between sculptures and the way he painted and all these different things. So I like that a lot. I think about that as music. I like Duchamp. You know, he had a great quote. He said, I don't believe in art, I believe in artists. And I feel the same way about music. I believe in music, but I really believe in musicians. I mean, that's who we do this with other people. And we want to bring it to life with other people. You know, and music isn't alive until we're playing it. You know, I mean, we can think about it, talk about it, blah, blah, blah. But once we start playing it, it's alive and it's there. And we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know. It's great. I mean, that's why we come back, especially improvised music. We don't know. That's that mystery, that vulnerability, that, you know, that adventure, you know, the unexpected, the journey into the unexpected is so great, you know.
Oh, man.
So,
that's great.
Speaking of McBee used to call rehearsals preparation for the unexpected. I love that.
Preparation for unexpected.
Yeah, for the unexpected. Yeah, we're just getting ready to see where it could go. I mean, that's so great, right? We're not living in it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And Reese Coswell.
Reese.
Reese Coswell.
Reese. He was just, he's a very fine young drummer originally from Denver, and he's one of my students at the San Francisco Conservatory. So we just had a lesson earlier today, and talking a lot about, he's fantastic. He sounds beautiful. Thanks for coming by, Reese.
Thank you for coming, Reese. And Regis Sylvester, Josh Glasgow says, happy birthday, Cecil McBee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picking Stone, there is a lot of people here. People, thank you for being here. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Edu.
Matt.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for this conversation. That was so inspiring, so musical, so inspiring. I'm happy with that. I'm more inspired today to still practicing and playing.
Thank you. I am too. I mean, you know, it's every day. Like, it's a great thing. You know, we can't take this for granted. It's a gift, you know, to get to do this. And, you know, it's this in sports has play in the job description. You know, so it's fun. You know, I mean, and I love it. I love it so much, and I love it with people. The people, you know, I love the people of the music. You know, I love the people that play the music. I love the people that produce the music. I love people that play the music on the radio. I love people that write about the music. I mean, you know, just people that are all about, you know, the sounds, you know, and how the sounds can make you feel is fantastic.
Yeah.
Jeff Dunn is on. He's a great photographer, captures stuff all the time. He's beautiful, you know. So I mean, the art form is just shareable with all kinds of folks. So thank you. Thank you so much.
And just a short one. Clement Marcus, he asked it twice, and I think we have to ask for you. He's asking what drums and cymbals are you using right there.
I have Craviotto, and I have I haven't really used this drum that much in the last few years, but I have been a lot lately. It's a 5.5.
That's beautiful.
And I'm using. I like these cymbals for inside the house and stuff. It's a Armin ride, 19-inch A Zildjian Armin ride with 3 rivets. And I found these in my stack. I forgot I even had them. And these are some 12-inch recording. They're called special recording 12-inch hi-hats. So they're small, but they feel really good. So I like them. You know, they're a little more condensed. But I play. You know, I have a lot of cymbals, but I pretty much always play this dry complex 2 prototype, a 20-inch high bell, and a swish China cymbal, and these Constantinople hi-hats. That's pretty much what I play most of the time. But I use some flat rides. I try different things all the time. You know, so
great.
It's always something. Yeah, thank you.
Please say hello for everybody here.
Oh, I will.
And thank you for being here. Thank you for this conversation, for accepting our invitation. Thank you, Open Studio.
Thank you, Open Studio. Yeah, Peter. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Robin.
This program is sponsored by Open Studio, and thank you for that. And thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Obrigado. I hope we can be together in person very soon.
Yeah, we shall. And we'll hug. We'll hug, baby. We'll hug.
Yeah. And Everybody, thank you for being here with us for this time, and be safe and be healthy, and beijo.
Beijo.
Tchau, pessoal.
Tchau.